Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be doing a deck profile of a deck I've been waiting to profile on this channel for some time, and that is my Shiranui deck profile, You know, I love Six Samurais, right? They're one of my favorite decks of all time. But you know it's just a little bit cooler sometimes than Six Samurais? Ghost Six Samurais. Yes, zombie Six Samurais. That's just a little bit more cooler, I think, in some regards. But as I mentioned to you guys when I was doing my Zombie World deck, this was planning to be coming out on Halloween. However, because of things happening, this got pushed back. But you guys are still seeing it now. So here's the deck profile. Like I said, this deck profile is really fun. It's a really fun deck to play, just a fun deck overall to play actually, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Zombie decks you can build in so many different ways, and this one especially. You know, when the initial support came out, I was hoping to build the deck. Back when we got Shiranui Style Slash, when we got Mass Spiritualist, because that could help pop cards. I was like, okay, cool, maybe I can make a deck around it. There wasn't enough good support for it at the time. So it was mainly used as an engine in multiple zombie decks out there. But when we got the newer support about a year ago, I finally started being able to piece together a deck of this, which was really awesome to finally do, because I'd always just wanted not a pure deck, but more of like you could use zombie parts. Kind of like I never thought about that for zombie decks. You're just using different parts to create a zombie. But you know, you could have more of a core focused on the Shiranui with other zombie engines and parts put together. Yeah, I just used a zombie analogy for a zombie deck. I was not planning to do that when I started this video. So, without further ado, let us get into the deck profile, right? So first we run 3 Shiranui Squire. This is probably my favorite artistically wise. I just like it, especially it goes along with the Mayakashi, which is something I'm working on as too, if you guys are just curious. There's a lot of zombie decks I'm kind of working on slowly. But yeah, this card's amazing for that reason. The fact that it's going to help precipitate a lot of synchro plays, because when this card is summoned, you can bring out Spectral Sword and you can bring out Spectral Sword Shade, which is going to help go for your different Shiranui synchro plays for the most part, because this is a level 2, this is a level 3. It can help go for different synchro plays for that reason. So really integral to the deck. Also on top of that, she's really good because if she's banished, she kind of becomes like a mini Graceful Charity, which is kind of cool, because what you can do is you can draw a card then discard a card. Well, if that's like a Mizuki, that's good. If it's a certain zombie card that you're discarding, that could be good that it's being sent to the graveyard. Like overall, it helps fill up your graveyard a little bit more faster. But mainly she's going to be used for synchro plays and things of that nature, and she's really good at doing that because you can bring it out from your deck and hand, which means if you draw it, it's not just a dead card, which is something that I was happy they did when they created this card. So 3 Squire. Next we run up our 3 Spectral Sword. So we run 1 Spectral Sword and 2 Shade. Now I've seen different ratios for different reasons, which we'll discuss about. I've seen people run 2 Spectral Sword, the old school. I've seen people run 3 Shade. I've seen 1 and 3. I've seen different ratios of these guys here. Like I said, I've seen 1, I've seen 3, I've seen 2, I've seen 3. I've just seen different ratios. And I understand why. Initially, when I was playtesting this deck, I ran a ratio of 1 and 3, right? And I said, okay, that's good, because the effect that you could trip this card, get banished zombies pretty much back for the most part in defense position, and then you could do stuff with it, was pretty cool. But I found through playtesting that it could get a little bit cloggy in some regards, so I bumped down the number, played around with the ratios, and I decided to run a ratio of 1 and 2. And after multiple playtesting, multiple months, probably almost a year worth, I found that this ratio worked pretty well for me. And I like it for that reason. So yeah, its versatility for Spectral Sword, especially as a 3-of, is there. It just depends if that's your playing style and how you want to abuse it. I find more or less. So yep, for that reason, that's why we run that ratio. On to your Squire Shiranui Solitaire, which is initially what made people really like this card and just intrigued me in the deck is because this is a lone fire for the deck. It's a lone fire for any zombie card, but it's going to help bring out a multitude of different things, be it your unizombie, be it whatever it may be, because this deck has a little bit more versatility, I find, with bringing out certain zombie cards than maybe a zombie world deck where it's mainly just, okay, it's going to be unizombie in a certain zombie deck, or it could be something else. In this deck, it has a little bit more variety instead of just going for unizombie, which everybody knows. But that's just my experience. Like I said, it differs game to game, and etc. But 3 of it, it's pretty much what the deck is best known for. It's splashed in any zombie deck, but in this deck, it's really awesome. Next up, we run our 2 Shiranui Spirit Master, which helps you pop things. I was trying around with 1 Spirit Master, and then I was trying around with 2. I will admit to you guys, I'm going back and forth currently between 1 and 2. When I was playtesting this deck and getting back in the swing of playing it, I can't make a decision fully. I am liking 2 because of the ability to pop more, and some of the other tech cards I'm running in the deck. Now, could you maybe bump it back to 1 of? Yeah. But in addition to 2 Spiritualist, I'm also running 1 Shiranui Samurai. He was my original favorite, and I'm so happy they made these guys super rare when they got reprinted about a year ago. But yeah, we run just 2 and 1 of the old school ones, and that's all for your Shiranui monsters. So next up for your zombie engine, I'm running 2 Mizuki in this deck. Like I said, depending upon my zombie deck, I'll run different ratios of Mizuki. If I was going to cut down on the Spiritualist, I may bump up Mizuki to 3 of. That is something I've tried out. Like I've always said about Mizuki in zombie decks, some people like it as a 3 of still, some people like it as a 2 of. It's player preference. I get the reasons why, I really do, but I like it as a 2 of currently. Next we run 2 Glow Up Bloom in the deck, and we also run 2 Necro World Banshee. Now, this is not a dedicated zombie world deck. I was talking with some buddies after I did that deck profile. Some people have suggested I run, maybe Doom King Baladrock as a 3 of in that build. In this deck, I wanted to use that because it's still a dang good engine. Like, it's a good zombie engine. So I decided to chuck some of those parts into this deck because it's just so good. Like, Zombie World just teched into zombie decks right now is really good because that Baladrock is that good of a card still, even to this day, for the time being, until we get maybe more Shiranui support, and that changes. So for the time being, we're running 2 Glow Up Bloom to help bring out your Baladrocks and everything, 2 Banshee to help bring out your Zombie World. Technically, we're running the same ratios that we did in a Zombie World deck, more or less. So that's what we're running there. Also, we're running 2 Baladrock. This is going to go well with your Zombie World engine, right? So this is going to be the reason why we're running this ratio. Now, we are running different ratios. This is going to be a little bit different than what you saw to some degree. When you start seeing the rest of the deck, you're going to see that it's not a Zombie World deck like my other one. It's a lot different. It's more Shiranui-esque. But 2 Baladrock, it's amazing. Just like stops effects, banishes stuff. You guys know the drill. Good, dang good card. Dang good boss monster card for zombie engines. Next we run 2 Unizombie and 1 Gozuki. I've talked with a buddy of mine, and like I said, if I was playing around with the ratios still, maybe I would run triple Unizombie maybe in this build. But from play testing, I like double Unizombie and I like a Gozuki. So I'm just running this ratio at the moment, and it's been working out pretty well for me overall, I would say. 1 Jacobolin and 1 Vampire Furloin. Now, if you're running a Zombie World deck and that's what you're mainly focusing on, maybe you bump up Jacobolin to like a 2 of, 3 of maybe even I've heard of, after seeing some comments on my videos. That's up to you to decide how you want to go down that road. Me personally, because this is more of a Shiranui deck, and Zombie World is just there as an engine part, not as the deck itself. It's not the main focus. That's why Jack-o'-Bolen's a 1-of. It's a good card, but it's not my main focus of what I'm trying to do. Vampire Furloin, same thing. This is not a vampire deck. It's still a good card. We're just running it as a 1-of because it's tech zombie options, I find. So that's all for your zombie-esque cards, besides your amazing zombie hand trap, which is a fire attribute to mind. Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. It goes with the Japanese theme of Shiranui's. It's an honorary... No, I'm not going to go down that route. But it is a fire zombie. It's kind of like an honorary... kind of like an honorary zombie Shiranui monster. I wanna see a card artwork one day where Ash Blossom is like in the background of a Shiranui artwork, just because it's a fire zombie. Just because. And it fits well with the theme too. It's got, you know, the Japanese look and everything. Like, it would be cool to see. Doubt it will happen, but it would be cool. But 3 Ash Blossom. This is gonna... You can run any hand traps you want to. Your DD Crows, your whatever, your freaking Ghost Ogres, your Cherry Blossoms, whatever. Effect Veilers if you want to go down that route. But Ash Blossom, I just like it in this deck, and it just, honestly, it's probably the best hand trap currently in the game, to some degree. To some degree, I say that. Next we run 2 Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story. You know, this talks about how the Mayakashi tie in with the Shiranuis. I need to see my Ash Blossom in the background here somewhere, man. But yeah, guys, Shiranui story, good card, 2-of staple in the deck, an amazing card, amazing support card, awesome backstory, lore to the deck as well. 3 Zombie World, because we're running that, and we're also running 1 Terraforming as well. So Zombie World still important to this deck because the way we're running it still makes the deck do a lot of things. Now we're not running Super Poly in the deck this time because we're not focusing on the Zombie World aspect of the deck fully. Now, could you maybe cut down some of the ratios and fit 1 with 2 Super Polys in the deck? Yeah, you could. Like that is a legit option you can go down, but at the same time you'd be taking away some of the... you start going down that road, and I found out very quickly you're making a Zombie World deck with just Shiranuis in it instead of a Shiranui deck with Zombie World in it. And there were pros and cons to each, because if you start going down the Super Poly route, I found that it made a lot of your other cards sometimes in the deck become obsolete. Maybe your Shiranui slashed because you didn't have enough targets. You would be surprised, but I decided to cut it out. I would suggest, though, side decking it depending upon your matchups. I would suggest that, along with your targets. That is something I'm still playing around with. Next, Foolish Burial, Upstart Goblin, Monster Reborn. Pretty self-explanatory here. Foolish Burial, we're zombies. We love Foolish Burial. Like, why wouldn't we? Upstart Goblin makes it a 39 card deck, gives me a little bit more draw power along with the search power, etc. Monster Reborn. We use the graveyard as a second hand. Why would I not use Monster Reborn is the question. Next I run 2 Shiranui Slash. Some people like 3 of. That's fine. I like a different card, which I'm going to talk about here for a second, which is Shiranui style Samaras. I can never pronounce this one properly. This is a continuous trap. This card, I have seen some Shiranui players who are more familiar with the deck run, and I've seen other people not run it. And that's up to you. Now I'm going to explain the card and the reasons why, because I find it very versatile, especially when you're in the grind game, so to speak. If you've gone through your resources, if you're in that grind game, if you're in the late game, this card will help you win games. And I have found that very truly. And the fact that it's searchable is also a benefit. So what's this card do exactly? You can use only 1 of these effects per turn. That's pretty straightforward. Number 1, banish 1 face-up zombie monster you control. You take no damage this turn, even if this card leaves the field. Number 2, target 2 of your banished zombie type monsters with 0 defense. Shuffle them both into the deck and then draw 1 card. Okay, why is this card so good? Why do I like this card? Well, this deck can grind very easily. Zombies can do that for the most part. And For most zombie decks, I'll say that. But I found this card has won me a lot of games because A, it would keep me in the game because I could banish a zombie monster, protect my life points. I'm taking no damage. Do you know how big of a deal that is when you're low on damage? You're low on life points? Pretty good. And I found from playtesting, me and some buddies, we just were doing some, getting back into the swing of doing tournaments and doing timed duels. We found this card could win you games in time. Secondly, the second effect is really good too. For the fact that what it could also do in addition to that to you is it could help recoup your resources. Now, yes, you do have things, like, I don't know, your Shiranui Spectral Sword Shade, right? That could easily, bring back to the field 2 banished zombie monsters, right? Well, this one doesn't state it has to be a Shiranui card. It can be any zombie monsters with 0 defense, right? With 0 defense. Well, last check, that's just about everything, I think. And I don't just get to do that, but I get to reload them back into my deck and draw another card. So let's think here. If I'm adding back a Shiranui, maybe a freaking Solitaire, right? Back into my deck, I'm reloading my deck, right? In the grind game, that can mean a lot. I'm reloading my deck back up so I can continue the grind game. And in addition to that, I'm drawing a card. You see the different versatility uses this card can have. And that's why I like it as a 1-of in the deck. So, I don't see a lot of people running it. And I really like it as a 1-of after playtesting it. So that's all for the main deck, guys. On to the extra deck. We run 1 Shiranui Supremacy, 1 Vampire Sucker. I'll try to make this part quick for you. Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Unicorn, and lastly, Access Code Talker. So these are pretty much your link monsters. The Nightmare package, Phoenix, Cerberus, Unicorn, your Zombie links, your Shiranui one, your Vampire Sucker, which are the 2 best I find, and Access Code Talker, which is just your generic rank 4 that's really badass. For your Synchros, we have Psyframe Lord Omega. We have Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon, which is still good. And then the rest of them are pretty much your Shiranui Synchros. So we run 2 Shiranui Samsaga, 2 Samsaga, 2 Squire, which is the girl version, Shogun, 2 Shiranui Shogun, and 1 Samsung. I can never pronounce these these names properly, so forgive me. But that's the ratio of the Shiranui Synchro engine that we're running, I find. You could run different ratios if you want to, but this ratio I've been fine. I've seen people run 2 of the horse and guy. I will say, just about a week ago, I was running 2 of it too, but I decided to cut it down for 1 of, so I could add other cards into the deck. I like the Nightmare package in there because it's still versatile. So, yeah, guys, hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a big thumbs up. And go Shiranuis. I am so happy that this thing is actually a functional deck. Like I said, different people run the version of their, run their deck a little bit differently sometimes compared to mine. But overall, I really like the way mine has been functioning. You can play around with it, adjust it the way you want to. Maybe I've given you some ideas and tech options you can try out. And until next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling to all of you. I'll see all of you guys next time, and Seto Kaiba out.